if you own this vehicle and you enjoy this vehicle, my dislikes have no bearing really over on you. It's just for the people that are shopping and maybe, you know, they want to focus and look at certain things that I point out just in case it might be an issue for them. It might not be. One of my likes is the auto door locks. So as I walk away from the vehicle, it will go ahead and lock the vehicle. So as long as I have this proximity key with me and I have that setting turned on, I can just get out and walk away. It also has the ability to push, there's the button that push on the power lift gate to close and locks the vehicle as well. So if you don't, even if you don't have that setting on, you can push that button as you walk away from the vehicle. It'll close up and lock the vehicle. So I like that. The sound system is really nice. Now if you have the bass turned up, it's a little bit muddy, but it sounds pretty dang good. The headlights are awesome. It has the active bending LED headlights and excellent visibility at nighttime. Some of the best headlights on the road from what I can tell. And it's all LEDs. All the exterior lighting is LEDs, which is another nice thing. And I like the styling. I like the way it looks. It looks cool. You know, depending on the color, the plastic on the sides might be a little bit of an issue for some people, but it does look cool. One of the things that I dislike about the vehicle is the active grille shutters stay closed a lot. So it interferes with the air conditioning system. So right now they are open, but there are times in which the vehicle is sitting there still not going anywhere and the active grille shutters are closed. I was wondering why the air conditioner wasn't all that great, and I see that just the vehicle sitting here idling, the active grille shutters are closed. And the whole point of the active grille shutters is for aerodynamics while you're driving. So having them closed while the vehicle's not moving makes no sense. All it does is it makes the system work harder to get the cold air in the vehicle, and the air conditioner is not adequate. That's another dislike. Air conditioner is not very good. When you're in direct sunlight, then you're hot. You're not. It keeps you from sweating, but you're not like comfortable really. The seat. Speaking of comfort, the seat comfort is not all that great. The seats look good, and when you first get in it, it's fine. But the center portion is just kind of dips down. There's not that much support in the center, so it's kind of like more like a hammock, you know, in a way. The sides have this pressure on your legs, and the center portion kind of like doesn't have that much support. So also it doesn't stick out that far. The seats aren't that long. So with my particular legs, it's like half my legs, you know. So the seats, depending on your body type and all that stuff, might be an issue. So you want to check into that a little bit. The center console, the way, you know, it's kind of like tricky to get open. That's not really my favorite thing in the world. The buttons and controls are not intuitive. The way there's all these switches and knobs and all that stuff, and also the visibility of some of the knobs are obscured because of the way they're designed. It's just not user-friendly for a driver. If you're sitting in the driveway and you're playing around with it and learn it, then it might be okay. But as far as like somebody getting in it, if you loan the vehicle or somebody else is driving it, or if you're driving it for the first time, it really can be a big problem. Just basic functions like, you know, just finding the volume knob, that kind of thing is just be an issue. And Andy, especially the HUD, if you want to change anything on the HUD, if you're driving, you can't do it. I mean, you have to stop the vehicle. I mean, technically you could, but it's so complicated that it would be dangerous for you to try to adjust the HUD. It's not like, you know, a lot of other vehicles just have like a button. You just up, down, do the brightness, and you're done while you're driving, to make sure, because you don't know what the visibility is like until you get out on the road as far as the HUD. Also, the cabin, the way it wraps around you, it's like you're claustrophobic. For me, it gives me this claustrophobic feel. When I get in, there's this large pillar, this wraps around, and it's like the visibility is hindered by this pillar, and also the pillars over here, and the width is not that big of a deal if this windshield was a little bit wider. So this contour, they're emphasizing more on the styling than the functionality. So this is a little bit claustrophobic to me, the way this is. And that's the just effect of the styling. So I like the styling, and then I don't like the styling. So because it causes problems like this, where it's kind of claustrophobic. But anyways, there is some likes and dislikes there. It does have some good pluses, but there's some stuff, you know, where where you put your cell phone and where you plug it in, and then you have the cup holders, but way back here on the other side of the shifter. So if you're sitting here, okay, and you're driving, if you want to get a cup of coffee and put it here, right? Well, if you're driving and you want to get your cup of coffee, you got to deal with the shifters in your way, and you also have an extended reach. So it's not like little things like that can make a big difference as far as you losing focus of the road. The more things that gets in the way, the more steps that gets in the way of you doing normal mundane things, like opening up this right here, and you gotta figure that out. You're like, what in the world? And that brief second in which you're like, what in the world? How do you open this thing up? Like you're not focusing on the road. Like, you know, some stuff has to be easy to do because you have to do some stuff while you're driving. So, you know, that's my biggest complaint about this vehicle. There's combinations to everything. There's no simple, straightforward thing. Like, oh, I want to turn the right. Oh, where's the knob at? Oh, that's for that. Okay, where's the volume knob? Or maybe, yeah, there's one on the steering wheel. Where's the knob? And then you figure out it's over here. You know, like by the time the 2 or 3 seconds extra trying to look for it, you're not focused on the road. The 2 or 3 extra times, extra seconds it takes for you to play around with these switches and knobs and buttons and everything in order to do a basic mundane thing. Also, just looking at, you see how big the screen is relative to that clock? That clock could be like 4 or 5 times bigger, but now my eyes have to focus on that. It's like, you know, is that 8 or is that a 6? You know, like it's kind of too small. Like there's certain things that could just be easily changed and it would be much better in my opinion. So anyways, these buttons right here, the visibility of them are obscured when the light shines off this top part. These basically are disappear when you're in bright sunlight. Same thing over here. This is bright. This metallic part is bright, and these buttons kind of, you're not as visible. But anyways, there's lots of I think you get the idea. There's some things that are just like did they even try to use this vehicle in any way before they put it out on the market? There's just some stuff like that that's very, very strange. And you know, it's similar to the CX-5. It was like, I was really, really shocked actually that, you know, some of the stuff that they came up with. Anyways, I can go on all day about little tiny itty bitty things about this particular vehicle. But anyways, thank you for watching. If you have any corrections, maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Maybe you know, I'm not like I have a Mazda truck that I've had multiple Mazda trucks. I went into this looking at Mazdas as a Mazda fanboy actually. But when I actually get in these vehicles, I'm like, what in the world is going on here? So that's why I'm pointing these out, because the last thing I want is somebody to buy a vehicle and have, you know, a wreck trying to figure out all these complications. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.